is like an old Harley with a Kickstarter, but we'll get it going. All right.
But
going, going live takes more than one kick, you know? Make sure that choke is on. All right, live there. Okay. Now, all right. Streaming. Okay, connecting there. All right, we are. All right, I am going to. We're having trouble hitting our destination. Not sure what's going on here, gentlemen. Hold on for a second. Mr. Hayden, hello.
Hi. Michael or Mike is fine.
Whatever you prefer, buddy.
Well, I'll
It's
go by
entirely up to
Mike
you.
because that's what I was in the filming of Jaws, and Michael Smith is there. Hi, Michael.
hey, Mike, how you been? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, Mike.
Nate.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
What were you saying, Nate?
I just said whatever you prefer. I was just kind of getting things rolling now, so we have to kickstart us off on YouTube, and then I kickstart us off on Facebook. So it looks like we are currently up and running. So
Yeah. Hi, Martin. I don't know you yet, but
Well, nice to meet you, Mike. I'm the administrator from the Amity Jaws group on Facebook, and I think I believe you're a member of that group. But very nice to make your acquaintance, sir.
yes, likewise. Thank you.
yeah. So first off, I want to thank everybody for hopping on tonight. Good to see everyone. Janie, good to have you back.
Hey, guys.
Michael, as always. Martin, great to have you on, and Michael Hayden, great to have you on, buddy. It was kind of ironic. I kind of heard from you like late last night. It was last minute. I was in the middle of doing this and doing that, and I'm shooting messages, and I don't know. I think I was throwing out wrong words and stuff. And Michael was nice enough to get back to me and said, "Hey, I'll jump on with you guys for a little bit." And I was like, "Hey, that sounds great. The more the merrier." So thank you very much on short notice. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Anytime we can have film royalty here.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I'm trying to be straight on camera, and it got me jumping around like a bean.
That's all right.
Any expert on this?
You look fine to me.
Yeah, you look fine here.
I was going to say,
right.
are you on a laptop?
Am I what?
On a laptop?
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So take the top of your laptop and move it down.
There. Maybe that's a little better.
Yeah, look fine.
Yeah.
Look fine.
Yeah.
Look fine to me.
Thanks.
Looks great. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us here. And slowly, I'm trying to monitor everybody at home. So you guys at home, if you are on YouTube, you can actually post, and I can bring up your posts. If you have any questions, you can bring those up live. If you're just posting on Facebook, can't bring them up live, but we are trying to monitor so we can kind of go through and see those links. So we're not forgetting about you. We're just kind of cross-referencing here. So thank you very much. So
let's see. Victor's here, Sonia's here, Mark is here, Kelly Devlin's here.
Good. We got a pretty good crowd going on for this evening.
Crystal, Abigail.
Yeah. Do you see someone by the name of Abigail on there, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, there she is. That's Aunt Janie's number one. There she is, Uncle Mikey.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome.
Aww.
Well, we want to thank everybody for coming on and hanging out with us tonight. We decided tonight we were going to dedicate this evening to Susan Backlinie. I've heard about the unfortunate and sudden passing of her, so we thought, how else could we pay our respects and pay homage to her other than dedicating this evening to her? And so that's what's in the cards here for tonight with us. So I'm sure you guys were probably as shocked as I was to see that. In fact, I heard some rumblings coming across, and until I heard it was validated, I wasn't quite sure you know, if it was true or not. So when did you guys hear about it?
Ross at Daily Jaws messaged me about it and said, "Want to know if I knew who a certain person was?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, it sounds familiar." And he was Susan's rep, and I guess he had reached out and confirmed. So you figure, and then all of a sudden it was just popping up. Other people were posting it.
Sure.
Yeah, I was in Tennessee for a FrankenCon, which is a horror convention, this past weekend. And Saturday night, I got into bed, and I got a message that it was potentially had happened, and I made a post late Saturday. I think about the same time as Daily Jaws was posting, and it wasn't confirmed. So I put a post like, "Hey, unconfirmed. If it's true, very sad news that Susan Backlinie passed away." And this was quite late on Saturday night. I went to bed, woke up Sunday morning, and it was confirmed, which was pretty heartbreaking because she was just an absolute lovely lady.
She really was. Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry, buddy.
I learned about it. It touches my heart as I had one-on-one contact with Susan Backlinie at Jaws Fest 05. And I don't know, Nate, if you want me to talk more now or wait until you decide, or it's decided that it's my time to convey my little time with her.
Michael,
No,
I think
no.
Feel
free.
I think
So
listen, I think now would be a great time. We're all very anxious to hear from you.
We were, we had a 4-day weekend in Jaws Fest 05, and it was so cool. And on Saturday, the third day, at Lambert's Cove Inn, West Tisbury, Massachusetts, with a beautiful English garden, by the way, there was Fashion Fest. Overflow attendance meant parking 3 miles away and shuttle. So I don't know if I shuttled Susan or not, but she did attend. And when I said to her the next day, "Did you like it?" I think she had a great time. Then I found that she was approachable and I could chat with her a bit. Later, we posed for the Martha's Vineyard Times. A few months later, I went to the Times and said, "Look, could I please get the negative?" And they said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a gone thing now." The reality, setting in. So back to the clam bake on Sunday afternoon, the final event, right next door to the Steamship Authority in Vineyard Haven, sort of diagonal, where there's an additional parking lot over there and an easy walk to Main Street, Vineyard Haven, though it's uphill. So we were with clam bake, and Susan said that she had played femme fatale in other movies. Now, I apologize that I cannot name some. And she said she was living on a houseboat on the Pacific side of the USA, California, and that she frequently went scuba diving. And there were a lot of sharks. And she said, yes, if they get too close, I punch them in the nose. So then, she came over to where I had sort of retreated back, very self-conscious. Don't ask me why. And thus we posed for the Times. It was an easygoing atmosphere at the final clam bake. And then in Jaws Fest 2012, we did not directly connect, but whether it was one, VIP sort of moving things along, like the breakfast at Winnetou. And incidentally, I rode out there with Carl Gottlieb and his wife. You may know he's an incredible script writer. Right. And we were in an open air trolley, and that was quite fun. Susan's name was mentioned during that 3 or 4 day weekend, 2012, Jaws Fest 2012, the tribute. And it may have been Jeff Kramer who mentioned her, but I can't remember precisely who did. But it was at a time when recognition for the main actors in the movie was being focused on and recited. And that just about is all, except my own leading up to these days in the new millennium. Like, I served in the Army Band program, the 113th Army Band, for 26 consecutive months permanent duty as the guitarist, but also cymbals and glockenspiel, because you do not march with an electric guitar, as you might know. and when Susan was on the screen, soldiers will watch Steven Spielberg movies naturally. My eyes were glued to her treading water. I mean, it was just surreal, really, taking me back 5 years, because I enlisted in 1980 and permanent duty 81. So that led up to the excitement of interacting with Susan Backlinie in person there in 05.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Great story.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I have, folks.
Connection.
She's very missed.
I agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yes.
She is. We were commenting earlier. In fact, I'll be bringing it up then. The Daily Jaws actually posted an article about the outpouring of the amount of people, fans that are coming forward. In fact, I actually want to pull it up here, regarding her passing and how dearly missed and how dearly loved she not just is now, but has been through time. And it really, really impresses me, because I think that speaks more about anything that she could have said or would have said about herself. I never met her personally, but I've seen quite a few interviews, and she seems so down to earth and doesn't seem like someone that was going to brag about herself or talk about accolades.
Yeah,
just a person, an amazing.
Our post on the Jaws 50 page, the post that I gave, I put down, it's had almost 4,000 views, interactions, however it works on Facebook. It's probably the largest single post that we've ever had. Fans reading it and leaving comments.
Yeah.
Well, I think for Jaws fans, obviously Roy Scheider passed away, 10, 12 years ago, before
2008, if I'm correct.
2008. Yeah.
2008. So
pancreatic cancer.
So my point is, really, Susan probably is the first Jaws legend that passed away in this age of Facebook. So people are able to, I don't think in 2008 Facebook was it even a thing in 2008?
If you were in college,
it was starting to come about. I think they had, what was it? That one, the other one.
MySpace.
What was it?
MySpace. Yeah, MySpace.
MySpace
what happened to Tom and MySpace?
So for Jaws fans, this really probably, and maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm not, but if I am, but this is probably the first Jaws death we've had since social media has really been a thing. So people are much more able to express their feelings and their sentiments of sorrow. Obviously Roy Scheider was a big loss. Robert Shaw died back it was 81. So over 40 years ago. So we didn't have social media then. So and also it speaks to Susan's character. I met her once, as Michael knows, back last October, and she was just about as lovely as anybody could be. She had so much time. My wife, I got a great image of Susan holding my wife's hands, leaning across the desk, and just talking like known each other for years. So it's a tough loss. She was a lovely, lovely lady.
Oh, she
Yes.
was, and you know, since Roy's passing, other people, Lee Fierro has passed, and Bob
Yes.
Carroll, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Alfred Wyde, but she was the one person. If I were to say, Lee Fierro passed away, I'd say Mrs. Kittner. People would like, what? Okay, they may not
Right.
know. They might be familiar
Right.
with the film, but if I say the girl at the beginning of the movie that gets eaten,
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody knew who Susan was.
Yeah.
And that's what I think
Yeah.
is really caused this great outpouring, because it's just and she's was so good to so many people. I first met her in 2005 at Jaws Fest, and then in 2012 I was at my wife and I were just at a gift shop in Menemsha, and we walked in, and she and Jeff Kramer were there.
Oh, wow.
Like, hey, how you guys doing? And Jeff's on the phone, and he's yelling at somebody. And I said, what's going on? He says, somebody was supposed to pick us up an hour ago. And
Oh,
I
wow.
just called again, and they said they don't have anybody to come get us. And as much as we met Janie at the 2012 Jaws Fest, and I met a lot of people, and I had a good time. It was horribly run. So I said, well, we'll give you a ride back to Edgartown. So, I got Chrissy and Hendrix in the back of the car, and they're hungry.
Yeah.
We didn't have any food where they were. So we went to the little barbecue place right next to where Quint's shack was.
Yeah.
And they told stories for 2 hours.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's when Janie got embarrassed by Michael Smith right there, right in front of Chrissy and Hendrix. That day.
That's amazing. What an amazing story, though. But I mean, and I tell this story a lot. I'm from London, England, growing up loving Jaws. Jaws in England is as big as it is in the States. People in England love Jaws, and I moved to the States about 20-something years ago. I started this Jaws page, 6 years ago with no aspirations to do anything. I thought maybe I'll meet some cool Jaws people, fans. I'll see some photos I've never seen. And here I am 6 years later. I've met most of the living Jaws folks, Jaws 2 folks, made friends with you guys. At Scarefest in October, where I met Michael for the first time. Michael and I have been friends and going back and forth for a couple of years, and I got to physically meet him, and he's just an awesome guy. But he introduced me to Jeff Kramer. I already spoken to Jeff Voorhees. I got to meet Susan and Richard Dreyfuss, and it was just, man, it's just like my head was spinning. It was like, fanboy, all the fanboy, and even on here with Michael Hayden. To me, Mr. Hayden, you're an absolute legend. I mean, you're in the opening scene of Jaws, playing the guitar. These things to me are just. They're unfathomable. As a kid from England, it's great. And Susan, I was lucky enough at Scarefest to be staying in a hotel with, Jeff Voorhees and Susan Backlinie, a bunch of guys from Friday the 13th. Halloween is probably my second or third favorite movie. I was in the hotel with Nick Castle, who played the Shape in Halloween, Will Sandlin, who played a little boy in Halloween, and James Jude Courtney, who played Michael Myers in the new Halloween movies. So I went back to the bar in the hotel. There's the 3 Michael Myers sitting having a drink. There's Jeff Voorhees ordering dinner, and Susan ordering dinner. I'm like, hey, Susan, Jeff, you guys want a drink? And Jeff's like, oh, I'm good. And Susan's like, I'm heading up to my room. The last image I have of Susan, I see her going to the elevator and pressing the up button and ascending to her room. So to me, that's just a beautiful memory of her, like getting in the elevator and kind of ascending up to her room. And I'm not a religious guy, but to me, it's almost like her going to heaven. And for me now, as she's passed, that for me, that's just a really nice memory that I have for myself. The last image I have of her is getting in the elevator and going up to her room, and it's just dreams come true. Like this Jaws page I started with no expectations has become something that has really just been so rewarding and fulfilling in my life. And I consider Nate to be a friend, and Michael to be a friend, and Jenny to be a friend. You guys are friends to me, and I'm on here with Mr. Hayden. It's just dreams come true. It really truly is.
Well, Jane gave her a Jaws 50 T-shirt, so that reminds me, Mike. I need to get your address. I got to send you one. So
yes,
she loved it.
One,
she
definitely. Yes.
So, yeah.
Sure.
Yes,
Spread the
I
word.
want to say
absolutely.
also that about Susan, if you look at Chrissy Watkins get up from the bonfire and look at Cassidy, it isn't placid. She's like really riveted to latching on to this guy as a character. That's why I said the character names. And
Yeah.
she's so focused,
Oh.
she really delivers. And then everything that leads up to her going into the water with her feet first touching the water, everything she totally nails. It's very compelling and it draws you into what becomes this god awful, horrible tragedy for the character Chrissy Watkins.
Mm.
She adds to
Right.
every dimension that leads up to way away from the group at the bonfire and totally by herself in the water there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she sets the tone for the film. If her scene
Yes.
doesn't work, if people are laughing or not
Yeah.
paying attention, then the movie's dead. Movies, I mean, ironic pause here, dead in the water. But
Yeah.
it was actual, the terror on her face and her reactions and being, yanked side to side, and all that was just,
It's a horrific scene. It's a horrific scene that stands up today, 49, almost 50 years later. I mean, it's iconic, absolutely iconic scene of movie history. It just is.
Actually, I was watching. I've been home for a few days, taking a little break from work, but I was on TikTok and watched a woman film on Universal's back studio tour. And they got to the Amity part on the tram because they're celebrating their 60th anniversary of the trams, going backstage on the backlots and everything. And they actually mentioned her on there saying, Chrissy Watkins did this, and let's watch out for the shark. She's so iconic within film. And they know the picture and they can relate to who she is. And she brought that easily. And I think that's why it's so iconic with her. And she was a stunt woman, to be honest. She was a stunt woman. She was a swimmer, a champion swimmer, if I'm not mistaken, from Palm Beach County. When she was in high school, she's a Floridian. So Mike and I know that. But,
we won't hold that against her, though.
No, hey.
My wife's a Floridian. I can say that.
You met Christina down there. We don't tell her what you said.
You with the sneakers out of the pool. Yeah, right.
So she was from Palm Beach County. She was raised there, and then she wound up becoming a swimmer, like I said, stunt woman. But she was also a Wiki Watchie mermaid. And if you've ever been,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's how she started.
No way. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, she was a mermaid there, and there's a great video on YouTube somewhere a few years ago. She went back and visited the park. And so she got to sit in this amphitheater where she used to swim at and tell the story about how Spielberg said that he wanted to see people underneath the seats with the bubble gum and the popcorn. And she has said that this whole time. Anytime you interviewed her, anytime she was at a con, so this is some of the earlier pictures Nate had found. And she was good with animals. She was a stunt person with animals, was she not, Mike?
Yeah, she was an animal trainer.
She
actually did, and I have it downstairs for historical reasons only. She was in the January '73 issue of Penthouse.
Yes.
With her lions.
Yes.
So it was a nature piece, but she had no fear. She had lions. She had bears.
Tigers. Oh my!
Just comfortable.
You beat me to it there, Jane. I was about to say the same thing. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Oh my!
Yeah, she was extremely accomplished. Yeah, so she was. I want to say she made the national team, and I'm not sure what stroke for in swimming. she got out of school. She was, I want to say she was voted like most athletic in high school. She was a cheerleader, so extremely athletic. She
Yes.
got out of high school, decided she wanted to go into nursing school. Tried that for a little bit, and decided being in a building probably wasn't the thing for her. Very adventurous, wanted to be out, wanted to be doing things. Her first husband was an animal trainer, which is what got her start there. So when you see, like, we talked about her with being an animal trainer, and that facet of her career, she was a licensed diver. She was a stunt woman. She was such a multifaceted person beyond perhaps what you and I know or you and I see of her, that it really, I mean, you can't nail her down as a stunt woman. You can't nail her down as the opening scene for Jaws. You really have to kind of sit back and look at the big picture. And we don't see that because I shouldn't say we. Being for myself, I put the blinders on because she does such amazing dramatic, kick off to the film. And like Mike said, if she didn't sell it, it wasn't going anywhere. So
Correct.
if you weren't bought in by her and her screaming and the back and forth, it was going to be a flop. And so she truly kind of kicked off and made it, the entire opening scene there, and then her attack scene. Yeah, 110%. I mean, just amazing. And so I kind of really had to kind of sit back and go, wow, the dynamics that she had as a person, professionally, I think personally. I mean, she's been living on a boat since she was 21 years old. She
Yeah.
raised a daughter on a boat,
Yeah.
at 21 years of age, and just a courageous person. I just think it's almost understated. I think the background that she had and the diversity that she had, pretty amazing
And,
person.
and I keep using the word lovely, and there's got to be a better adjective to it. She, when I got to meet Richard Dreyfuss, who does have a reputation of being can be prickly at times. He was great. Obviously, Jeff Kramer's fantastic. Jeff Voorhees is phenomenal. But Susan, I can't even put my finger on it. She was so genuine and lovely and cared about the conversation. I mean, the picture I have, and I said about my wife and her holding hands across the desk, it's such a lovely photo, and it speaks to her character. She was a genuinely, and I keep saying lovely because I don't have a better word, but she was just a genuinely lovely person. And I'm very sad that she's passed, and God rest her soul. A beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah.
I believe Eliza Doolittle pronounces lubberly, but
She was lovely. Yeah.
Michael, while we have you on for here, quick question for you. So I know that you're an Islander. Obviously, Susan is not. Started out in Florida, lived out in California. The other people that were in the opening scene with you and Chrissy, were they also locals? Were they Islanders? Were they brought in? Do you know any information on that?
Okay, so I'm from Connecticut, and I was swim team breaststroke, 5th grade through 10th grade. And I've swum long distance. The only reason I'm sidetracking this is I bond closer with Susan Backlinie, even though she's passed, knowing how all these points that you folks are making about her as a mermaid and animal trainer and incredible swimmer, winning races and setting records and this sort of thing. So others in that shoot where the 110% truth is that my folks, where we were, a fairly extensive cottage off T Lane Chilmark, long ago let go, is where we were because we had were having a get together as a family. So a lot of what was taking place with a whole lot of partying and a whole lot of consumption of the beer of choice, Narragansett, pass me by. And it reminds me of a Ringo Starr song. I listen for your footsteps coming up the drive. I listen for your footsteps, but they don't arrive. I'll wait to hear you knocking on my front door. I don't hear it. Does it mean you don't love me anymore? And you do feel sentimental at the loss of someone so outstanding. That of the Phillies, Woody, I've chatted with his brother Jonathan Philly, played Cassidy, Chrissy Watkins' love interest at the bonfire. And when they go around the beach fence, holding the sand, then he says, wait a minute. Where are we going? And Chrissy Watkins gleefully lets out swimming. So the rest right? But there were a lot of locals building the sets on the shoot that I was part of, where I was in other shoots that went away. And we worked from 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. Steven Spielberg, who was in one of the shots past, Nate, with, just this evening's program, was there in the water with Susan.
Yes.
He was marching out her path. And Michael, the point that I made in 2020 on podcast, Let's Talk Jaws Live with you and Jay Smith, was senior moment, that I'll have to get my thought back.
That's okay.
No problem.
Take your time. Take your time, certainly.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Michael.
The main thing is that there were more than one or two, not too many more, semi-tractor trailers with Universal production team equipment and all parked there on Atlantic Drive, which connects the two roads out from Edgartown proper and the historic district. So you have Katama Road going one way, Herring Creek Road going the other, and out at the beach parallel to the shore is Atlantic Drive. So here are these semis, super atypical for Martha's Vineyard. And it's about a week after Labor Day. And Susan Backlinie was not at that shoot. But the point that I would make is sort of a bit of trivia, I suppose, is that beach that Steven Spielberg marched her path to go to the water at South Beach was the first. The second beach is State Beach. And this is why Michael Smith, I mentioned the podcast in 2020, because I believe I'm saying what I said there then to this point, that State Beach was the only location of the mechanical great white nicknamed Bruce.
Okay.
So that is the beach where Susan Backlinie was. I guess she was filmed in both beaches, like going into the water. I'd have to see footage again. But below us right now is South Beach with the bonfire and the dunes. And December 18 or 19, 2023, and January 9, 2024, with these humongous storms out there. So it's a whole other something now. Incredible.
I was just out there 2-3 years ago, Michael, and went to visit and hit South Beach and kind of popped in there. And it was after they rebuilt the beaches. I want to say they had just rebuilt the beaches because of all the erosion from storms. And was talking to a friend of ours, Donna Honig, who lives in that general vicinity, and she was telling me I just visited back around the Easter break and said how they had just fixed everything down there and it's completely been obliterated again.
Well, this is even different, more different. It's like totally different.
Yeah.
And also there's an article in Martha's Vineyard Times that anybody could go to later this evening that talks about the post-storm reconstruction of Atlantic Drive and Herring Creek Road, because the highway failed under the weather. And now a lot of those dunes apparently are flattened, and there's dune grass, little tiny beginner type dune grass poking up. And the article in the Times, two things. First of all, the point made and made again in the fairly extensive article that the beachgoers will have a very different experience this year, and that the wrap-up quotes the town administrator of sort of regretting that he sounds like, we've not mentioned his name yet, Larry Monroe, played by the late Murray Hamilton. Those beaches will be open on the 4th of July. And if we find those youngsters who messed with that sign, we're going to hang them up by their Buster Brown.
Buster Browns.
The funny thing, Buster Browns, because coming from England, I had no idea what Buster Browns were, and I thought for the longest time, when he said Buster Browns, I thought he was talking about testicles. And it wasn't until I moved to the States that I found out Buster Browns were shoes. I had no idea until like maybe 10 years ago. I always thought Buster Browns was like a slang term for testicles. And who knew? Who knew?
Buster Brown shoes in England?
No. I always thought Buster Browns, he was talking about their balls. I had no idea.
Buster Brown and his dog Tig.
Yeah, meet Buster Brown. He lives in his shoe. There's his dog Tig. He lives in there too.
No idea. We never had Buster Browns in England. And I said to my wife, Buster Browns. She goes, oh, they're shoes. I'm like, no, they're not. They're talking about his balls. No. And so I'm ashamed to admit I didn't know. But we never had Buster Browns in England. I had no idea.
We're just going to say it was a language barrier, okay?
There we go. Yeah, it's lost in translation.
I gotta say,
I love it.
Martin, that is great. I love that story. That is great.
Please don't judge me.
We're going to judge you. That's why we love you.
I'm not, Martin, never would I judge you. Might I nickname you Buster Brown at SharkCon this summer? It's a possibility. No.
I'll take it. But I always thought, like, to me, like it sounded more like aggressive. I want these paint happy son of a bitches hung up by their balls. That to me, it sounded like, yes, do it, Mayor Vaughan, do it. And when he said hung up by their shoes, I was like, well, that's a little bit weak, you know. So, but hey, you live and learn, right?
This is true.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
All comes down to interpretation. All comes down to interpretation. Well, real quick, and Michael Hayden, you might not be familiar with this, but we have a little fun thing that we like to do here. And then when someone comes up with a really cool or obscure fact, you literally get Michael Hayden facts. So little connection there. I didn't realize the connection with the other actor that interacted with Chrissy and the fact that they were tied into other family members that were on the island. So really cool. Thank you for that.
Very cool.
I need to say that, Steven Spielberg was busy, as I say, creating plot element with the path over the dunes to the water for Chrissy Watkins. So he was not overseeing directly, but the assistant may have been by the name of a local guy, Tom Joyner.
Yeah.
And I said, like, to the assistant, not knowing him, could I ask Mr. Spielberg a question? And so all I can say is that I got permission, but I asked through the assistant, and Steven Spielberg responded, gave an answer. And it's like 50 years ago, because we filmed in 1974. So I don't remember the actual dialogue, sorry to say.
Either way, great
Very
connection.
cool. Very cool.
Great connection, great memories. Yeah, she.
See,
Go
the
ahead, Mike.
music
I'm
you
sorry.
play, that was your composition, right?
No. Now, let me say this. I've got a huge backstory from 1958, 4 years after I began classical piano. And so in 58, I had organized other sixth graders at the elementary school to be a rock and roll band. And not too shabby. We got a job at the high school slop hop, and through someone's older sister, rest in peace, and we got paid $5 each. So the next year I went into seventh grade, and I was swept up in rock bands from then on through half of my senior year in the senior high school. But then I bailed because I was paranoid about grades and getting into college. And then it just, you guys, I was like insatiable. And I've got a lot of tunes from the 60s, three of which are in a band called the Sound Pocket out of Athens, Ohio, and Ohio University. And I wrote Girl Has Gone and Land Off the Coast, about a little known island off the coast of Massachusetts. And I wrote Spectrum Sound. And we met with one of Danny and the Juniors, and we played a band war in Columbus and
At
didn't
the Hop.
win. And we went to New York and made a recording with a fellow by the name of John Bennings, by a really important personal connection of mine. And it just goes on and on and on without taking more program time devoted to, sad to say, she's gone, Susan Backlinie. She told me how to pronounce her last name because I was saying, well, it looks like Backlinie. She said, no, yes, it's Backlinie.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Missing a vowel.
Yep. Susan Jane. Susan Jane. Yep.
All righty.
Yep.
Thank you so
That's
much.
how I found out. I found move my hair. I found out her middle name. Golly, when we met in 2012, and we started talking, and it went from being a fangirl, and within 10 minutes, like what Martin says, it's a conversation like you've known her your whole life.
Yeah,
and that's what she said, so what is your name? And I said, well, it's Jane, but I go by Jane. And she goes, well, that's my middle name. It's Susan Jane. No wonder we get along. And I went, that's right. Us Janes need to keep together. And so ever since then, that was my special moment. Yes, there it is right there. That's when I first met her. That's my ex-husband, John. And I tell you what, he adored her. He adored her. She was the first movie star he ever met. And he's not one for pop culture. Mike can tell you that. But with her, the story goes, he just literally walked up to her and says, hey, naked chick. And of course, I'm standing there and I go like this, like Homer Simpson. I just went, dope, like you don't say that. And he says, no. She goes, in my 40 years of being Chrissy, nobody's ever called me naked chick. I kind of like that. And I said, well, it's yours. And so I met her a few years later. She was here in Knoxville. And I said, do you remember me? And she says, yeah, your husband called me naked chick. I never forgot it.
Wow.
I was floored, completely floored. So she signed that picture. I had it printed out and she signed it for him. And it said, to John from Naked Chick, first victim.
It's amazing.
And he has kept that with. I mean, she's just such a sweetheart. But yeah, that's a Naked Chick. To John.
So Nate, Mr. Nate Jones, is my time about extinguished? Because can I put in a plug if any of you are on Martha's Vineyard this weekend?
Go,
absolutely. Oh, listen, take as much time as you like. Yes.
Something is created now in multiple locations for Saturday afternoon, called, one word, Porch Fest. So the sponsors each have their own venue and porch, and they are receiving individual performers. Mine will be what is Post Office Square behind the courthouse, juniper front porch there. And I may do Renaissance and classical guitar, but I will also, that'll be nylon strung. I will also do metal strung acoustic. So I think of the movie music, which in the uh Daily Jaws, the guy interviewed me about what went through my head when I came up with that music, and it was that I've been listening to chord progression similar, Dock of the Bay, Sitting in the Morning Sun, and
Otis
etc.
Redding.
And Dylan, I mean, I was always curious what was next with Dylan. So A side, B side of Nashville Skyline, and lo and behold, the chord prog is laid out there by Dylan with the studio musicians in Nashville, Nashville Skyline Rag. But I wasn't thinking, oh, that's a great tune. Play that tune now. It just came to me. Then there's a couple of things that are totally original and have not lit the whole room up, but are inspired by my chance there. And a quick plug, The Shark is Still Working has me also in the music department, where J. Michael Roddy, on the driveway of the Martha's Vineyard Chamber of Commerce, just one block from where I later, a couple of days later, met and chatted with Susan Backlinie, introduced me, J. Michael Roddy, to Eric Hollander. And in the months that followed, on 2 occasions, Eric Hollander taped me, and thus I made it into the music department of The Shark is Still Working, with M. Night and Steven Spielberg and other directors talking about the impact and legacy of Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Which I
Amazing.
have very proudly to say I own.
And a friend of mine from Canada met you, who's a bit of a musician and a guitar player, and I believe it's in the same Daily Jaws article about you, Michael. You were trying to teach him the song that you played.
Sure. Jamie
Jamie
Saunders.
Yeah.
He had a traveling companion with him. And before I got my AC in this lovely apartment, the temperature exceeded 80 degrees in the summertime. And that sufficed to, spring forward a comment on that level as I played for them an original jazz instrumental on my Steinway, which is right over to my camera right, stage left. Yeah, they were here, and they wanted very much, and they did, to spend a great deal of time with the late Lee Fierro. It would be interesting to know, because Lee Fierro had dialogue considerable, naturally, with the man she shared the scene with, when she's dressed in black with a veil, lifts back the veil and lets the chief of police, Martin Brody, have it. And played by Roy Scheider, the late, great Roy Scheider. In 2005, he wasn't here in person, but he said that actually Lee had done mostly theater, and she wasn't used to pulling her punches. So he would do 14 takes, and he would go home at night and ice his jaw after doing 14 times.
Poor Roy.
But this is great fun. Thank you very much. We all miss her terribly, and she is so spirited that I think, all the off references do find their place somehow.
100%, Michael. We really appreciate you.
Nicely put.
Really appreciate you joining us and giving us a little bit of insight that we don't have that you were able to experience. And that's something doesn't get spread around very often. And as you know, we're coming up on 50 years. And so it's not as many people still around. So it's really a gem and really a jewel, in my pocket, the fact that we're able to kind of hear a little bit of that from you. So greatly appreciate it very much.
Very
great to spend time with you all, Michael, Nate, and Janie, and Martin.
Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if Buster Brown makes an adult slip on or not.
I'm never going to leave this one down, am I? This is going to be my curse.
You are dead, brother.
I opened up. I tried to be honest, and you guys are judging me. I feel very bad.
Never lay your guard down, Martin. Come on.
I know, right? I felt this was a safe space, but I guess not.
Mike, thank you again for coming on. It's always great when we get to talk to you, and I'll get you a message because I need your address and your T-shirt size, so I can get a Jaws 50 shirt out to you, and we'll see you.
So, Michael, do you have my email, or how are you gonna?
I'm just on Facebook. That's fine, or I can email you, however you want it.
It's Michael Hayden MV@gmail.com, or should I write that in? Here in the chat,
I've got your email because you sent me some of your music. So yeah,
I will have to say, Michael, that I have a 22-year-old niece, and she's of course, I've totally brainwashed her with this movie. But when I told her this afternoon that you were going to be on today, this is what her words were. She goes, "That's awesome, Aunt Janie." So she is a big fan of the movie, and she thinks it's really cool. So you know what, you were very much admired, even though for that little bit of screen time that you have, you still make an impact for us fans around the world. So we thank you
very much.
We look forward to being in the same room with you next year.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely be there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Cheers.
Really appreciate your time. All right.
That was interesting. I liked all that.
That was very cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's how we roll. Let's talk.
That's how we roll. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got connections.
How about that? What a very nice. He messaged me last night, and I said, "Hey, you want to come on?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." So yeah, it was really, really cool.
Well, he's a classic trained musician. He went to Berkeley, and when we were on the Vineyard in 2021, when I did the book signing with Edith at Edgartown Books, we all went to dinner, and he was telling the best stories of having used to be a music store down the street. But he and his friends, they had to go to the back door after closing to get the Elvis Presley music because they wouldn't openly sell Elvis Presley albums. That was just great,
crazy stuff.
Wow,
it's so crazy. I mean, I say this all the time, but like in my mind, shit, that was Michael Hayden, man. He's in Jaws. I just spoke to that guy. I mean, like. I don't know if I fully explain it very well, but like again, being this guy from England and not having these connections and coming over and just starting a Jaws page on a whim and all the things, regardless of meeting Richard Dreyfuss and just making all these friends I've made, it's to me, I really scratch my head with it. It's like, seriously, this shit is happening. This is really, it's great. It's so great. I mean, it really, really genuinely is an amazing experience.
And you're going to meet a couple more down in Tampa. So
yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun. So what's the big announcement then, Michael? Who's the next? I know you got Gigi and
I can't say everybody because I'm trying to release it, but I will share it with you, everybody, after the show here. I will share it with the inner circle.
No, man. Okay.
Not public yet. You guys at home?
Be there.
Jane, are you making that? Are you making it down to Tampa? Or you're not? You're not going to be there?
No.
Oh, you suck. Why not? Come on.
Hang you up by your Buster Brown.
That's right.
I'm starting a new job actually on Monday, so I really won't have time to go. So sadly, the healthcare profession is holding me back. But you know what? I was there when I met Dreyfus for the first time with Mike. I sat in Mike's little corner with him. I was very, very honored, very grateful to sit there, and right next to him was Richard's booth, and saw him sign a bunch of things. So I've had my time. It's Nate's turn to go and shine, and you guys just go and have all the fun for me, because it really is a great thing to go and experience.
Yeah, I can't. I'm super excited, and I owe Nate, and Nate's helped me out recently with a couple of things, so I definitely owe him a drink. And and Michael. I mean, Michael's okay. I tolerate Michael, but it's gonna be fun.
I know. It's gotta
keep it up, Doogie.
You're getting Richard off.
Buster Brown in that statement, huh?
You will thoroughly love it, because if you're the reason why I got into it was because marine biology is why I got into it, was because of Jaws. And I was going to be a marine biologist. And when I told Richard that, he says, you're about the second one today that told me you wanted to be a female hooker. I said, absolutely. But the way that they have it set at SharkCon is great, because people are there from Marine and from SeaWorld and all the, it being in Florida, and Christina will know this, her being my Florida girl, that they really do put on a great festival for people to come and just
bring your bathing suit, because they have scuba lessons too. So
they have scuba lessons.
There you go.
Go your tank.
Wow.
No, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun. I'm really excited. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm fairly new to the conventions. I mean, we and Jane, you were in Knoxville, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So last weekend I was in Alcoa. How far is that for you? That's not too far, right?
You were basically 20 miles away from me.
Yeah. So I was in Alcoa, Tennessee for FrankenCon, which I kind of fell in. So it's kind of funny. So last year, I was invited to go to FrankenCon because Susan was supposed to be there, and they asked me to do a Q&A with her, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then she cancelled last minute, and I was like, well, I'm going to go anyway. So me and Christina went. We had a great time. We met all the guys from Sleepaway Camp. I like Jaws is my favorite beyond all others, but I love trashy early 80s horror movies. That's my second love. If I didn't start a Jaws page, what's that?
That's a good one. That's a good one to go to, because I was going to go to the same one too with Susan, and she canceled, and then I didn't go. But my hair's like everywhere. But now Fanboy, I'm going to go to Fanboy. I think it's the same weekend you guys are going to be at SharkCon.
Okay.
So I figured I would go to that and kind of dig up on some stuff to bring on back in the day, and then you guys know.
Sure.
Yeah. There you
Divide
go.
and conquer. Hey,
exactly.
If you guys don't mind, I kind of feel like I've kind of neglected some of the comments real quick. I'm just going to hit a couple comments here.
Absolutely. No, we know you guys comment. Yeah, please.
Just kind of mention a couple. So we had quite a few people kind of chime in here.
Full house tonight.
Yeah, we really do. So a lot of people thanking Michael Hayden for coming on tonight and joining us. We've got, so a couple of people saying, hey, hope to see you guys coming up here this summer. So it sounds like there's going to be some people hanging around SharkCon. So hopefully we'll make some other connections. Yeah. Mark Ames said he's going to be heading to the Vineyard in about a month. So he's hoping he can run into Michael Hayden.
Yeah, Mark.
Wow, he's there. Yeah, very cool. Sonia said, amazing show. Love you guys. So good to see everyone on here all together. Yeah, we got, what else we got? We got Keith. Keith said he just got home from vacation. So says he's watching us and hanging out with us as well. And we got Christina, I believe your wife, Martin, said, thanks for including Martin and what's going on here. tonight. So
Yeah.
whatever keeps him out of your hair for an hour, I'm assuming. So
I'll leave that one alone.
That check better not bounce.
Oh, and then she chimes back in here and says, "Why is marine biologist one of the 5 careers we think we're going to be when we ask kids?" And that is kind of a neat one because you
It is
think
a
of like,
Florida thing, Christina. That's right.
yeah,
Go Gators.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it just comes with the territory.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
really
That's so funny. Yeah,
I mean, it's not hard. We're surrounded by water. What else are we gonna do?
that's right. And the peninsula, exactly right. Yeah.
Well, you're in
there's
Florida.
water
You could be an
in the state as
astronaut.
well.
Cape
Well,
Canaveral.
that's
You
true
could be an
too, but
astronaut.
it's not.
Or you could be a crack addict. So I mean, it's the it's got so many choices.
You know what? Don't ruin my fun, sir. Okay, so
I love Florida. I lived there for a couple of years. I love Florida. So but I kid. You know.
a kid. We were watching him last week, by the way.
Yeah, we had that's Triumph. I kid.
Triumph. Oh my! Listen, I could not get enough of that guy for a long time, man. Oh,
yeah, he was great. Yeah.
Oh,
for me to poop on.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did something on our Star Wars, and so we were trying to like square off between Star Wars and Star Trek. And at the end, I pulled a couple of clips up, and it was the clip of him. He was going and interviewing people that were in line to see. I can't remember if it was Phantom Menace or it was one of the original first. Yeah. And just tearing them apart. I mean, it was just the one-liners he comes up with. It's just, oh my gosh,
it's amazing. Man. Right? Yeah, it's amazing. That guy was amazing.
Really was. Hey, we got Matt Drinberg chiming in here saying
Florida boy.
Said he was going to be a marine biologist till some guy named Mike talked him into going and joining the Army with him. So
no, don't blame me.
Wow,
don't blame me. Really? I have known you for 48 years, and this is the first time hearing you wanted to be a marine biologist. Every secret from 9th grade on. I know every one of your secrets, and marine biologist wasn't one of them.
That's amazing.
He's just trying to guilt me. And hopefully Matt will be down there too for SharkCon. So.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be great. Yeah. I wanted to be, I was totally enthralled with being an ichthyologist. And then I think I looked at the credentials of what it took, and I looked at myself and I went, I can teach 9-year-olds.
I did. In high school, there was a church across from our high school, and they had they had classes over there. You could go after school, and I went to like the ocean, marine biology diving thing, and it was just like, yeah, that's way too much. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. I'm like, I'll just start a fan club.
Speaking of that, have you guys ever wandered into Woods Hole? I know there's a couple places the public can go into. Right there.
I've never been to I've been to the ferry stop, a few times. We've never gone to the Institute.
I walked around downtown. I've been to Falmouth a bunch of times, but I've never gone in. And I know there's a couple places you can stop in there that they'll actually let people access it. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I totally enthralled by it. You couldn't get me to go in a 7-foot across submersible that goes down 2 miles. That's not going to happen. But
well,
really,
considering who it is, it would be safe. But I mean, because that's where that's the same harbor where the boat that launched Alvin, right? That found the Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Was out of Falmouth. Yeah.
James Ballard. Was it Ballard? James Ballard?
Mike Ballard, 1985.
Bob, I thought it was Bob.
Somebody
Robert.
Yeah,
Robert Bob. Yeah.
So yeah, so the last time that we
James
went,
to his friend.
I saw Alvin. Huh?
So James Ballard to his friends. He just be calling him James, but Bob or Robert.
Was he wearing Michael Brown's?
We all agree on Ballard.
You don't have to call him Robert. I call him Bob because on Tuesdays he come to my house for chicken. You know what I mean? So we were that close. No.
That's amazing.
At any rate. Well, we are rounding out the hour here, ladies and gentlemen. And so I thought maybe what we do is maybe hit a little bit on maybe what's been going on
Yeah.
in the Jaws community real quick. Maybe anyone has anything they want to put in there, what's been happening maybe on some of the sites or any current information. I think now would be a really good time to throw that out there. So whoever wants to go ahead and jump right in there.
Martin, go ahead. And you're about to hit 31,000.
Yeah, Amateur Jaws Group has been a little quiet lately. We kind of got into the year, and I've been super busy in my real life. But we were lucky enough to interview Jeff Kramer, which was fantastic. And thanks to you guys for the kind of hook up there. We interviewed Ryan Dacko for the Book of Quint, which is a phenomenal book, by the way. It's a great book. I really hope that thing gets made into a movie. It'll be super interesting to see how that goes. For the most part, we've been pretty quiet, just plodding along. We're about to hit 31,000 members, which is frankly insane. Just in 6. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's insane that we've grown to 31,000 members. But yeah, awesome stuff. Just continue to love the Jaws family. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys and all you do on Jaws 50 and Let's Talk Jaws Live. And I cannot wait for next year to meet Nate and to see Michael again. And, unfortunately, Janie won't be there because she's a sad loser. But other than that, thank you. Was that a thumbs up, Janie? Was that a thumbs up you gave me there?
Glasses, man.
Martin, you and I are going to get along just fine in person.
No. All kidding aside, love you guys. You guys do a great thing. I'm happy and proud to call you guys friends, and I can't wait to next year to meet up with Michael again and Nate meet you and Janie. I'll see you again soon. I'm sure it's one of these conventions somewhere. So thank you guys for all you do. You guys are awesome.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Not that far from me, so yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Well, we've actually started growing again. We're about to hit 11,000, I think.
Awesome! Congrats! That's amazing. That's amazing.
And we've got a giveaway going. Christian at the Massachusetts Lottery sent us a beach towel and a hat and some bottle openers, shark shaped. We're doing a giveaway, and we're just asking you to post a picture of something in your Jaws collection, and at the end of the month, we will randomly draw winners. So
I'll get on that. If I don't win, Michael, I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling it a fix. Okay, I'm just untrained.
You get a pair of 30 crusty ass shoes.
I will have random people. Nate, you want everything. Oh my God. What are the odds?
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
And all I can say about SharkCon is that it is going to be I want to say the largest, outside of the first Jaws Fest, the largest Jaws panel of cast and crew ever assembled. And can you give some? Can you give some info, or is it not like? I know that G is going to be there, and Gary Springer, and Dorothy Fielding, but beyond that, I don't know anybody else that's going to be there. Richard, okay. Jeff Kramer is going to be there. Oh, fantastic! And a couple more that we'll talk about later because Spencer hasn't announced him yet, so I don't want to jump the gun on him. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be. I think there are currently going to be nine people on the panel from all of the films. Now, didn't you say from Jaws 3 and Jaws 4? So if I say names, am I allowed to say names, or should I be quiet? You can say names. I might not react. I might go. So if I said Lance, so let's see if Michael smiles. So if I said Lance Guest, would I be close? That would be a very good guest. Yes. All right. So that's Jaws. So let's think like Jaws 3. Not Leah Thompson. Surely not Leah Thompson. No, she was there last year. Oh, damn it. All right. Jaws 3.
Her and Lou Gossett Jr. were there last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I hate I missed that. So that's
Yeah.
Jaws 4. So Jaws 3. Who? Oh, Dennis Quaid.
Are you going to heckle the Jaws 3 and 4 people?
I mean, I will. I may get physical with them, and I may get arrested. But I'm sorry. I've got strong feelings about Jaws 3 and Jaws 4. Very strong feelings.
He just needs to wear a T-shirt that says "My name is Buster Brown" and wear it around SharkCon.
I feel like this is going to be like an albatross around my neck now forever. Like, you know, this guy doesn't. He's a Jaws. Man. He's got a Jaws page. He doesn't know what Buster Browns are. What kind of idiot is this guy? So yeah, listen. I'm big enough to admit my faults.
It's up there with ice cream, coffee, ice cream,
Oh.
or coffee. And I will say it was probably 10 years ago when I realized when Hooper points to his chest and says Roy says you're wearing a sweater.
Yeah.
I always thought he meant that little pink thing he was wearing. I did not realize
the hair on its
chest hair.
Oh, you didn't know it was the hair, really?
Yeah.
Who do you think told Michael?
Yeah. It's a Janie fact.
Wow.
It's a Janie fact.
All right,
For a long time, when I was a kid, there were shortbread cookies called Lorna Doones. And I thought up until, I don't know, 2000 and whatever, I thought Robert Shaw was always saying, "Farewell, Lorna Doone." Like it was his favorite cookie. It was his favorite cookie.
Wow. So I thought I was an idiot, but you trump me now, Michael.
So
okay, I feel better about myself now. This is good.
Broad shoulders, pile on. I got broad shoulders.
Right, that's right.
So Michael will be getting a lifetime supplies of Lorna Doones for Christmas from Janie.
Yeah, I'll be getting a pair of Buster Browns.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just remember, black eyes build character, guys. It's all good. You know?
That's so funny. That's amazing.
We all take our lumps, you know.
That's right. That's right. But at least we're adult enough to admit our faults, right? We're like, okay, look, I didn't know this, but in fairness, Michael's was kind of crazy. Let's be honest.
I don't look at him as fault. I look at it as part of the character, and this is what makes it fun. Otherwise, it'd be a dull and boring show and a dull and boring life. But you know what?
That's right.
That's not why we're here, man. Not why we're here. Yeah,
we're here to enlighten.
That's right. Always a pleasure, guys. I love it when I get the chance to come and talk to you guys. It's always an absolute pleasure. Absolutely love it.
Well, always happy to have you.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us and spend a little bit of your evening with us. And anytime, you are one of a handful of people always invited on here. So without a doubt,
thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I consider all three of you to be friends to me, and that means a lot. So thank you very, very much.
Awesome, buddy.
I have to tell you what your wife just replied. Your wife just said, "I'll keep him in check at SharkCon, guys."
Wow. Well, what she doesn't know is she'll be sleeping in the garage tonight. She didn't know that.
No, she won't stay with Janie. It's okay. Janie doesn't have to work tomorrow. She'll come get her.
Wow,
you're gonna heckle Lance Guest, and Svetlana is going to say, "That is the man that upset Richard."
Oh yeah!
Wow! Yeah. But I mean, in fairness, come on, Michael. In fairness, that was a good question, wasn't it? I mean, that was a solid question.
It was a great question.
And he had I thought he had a respectful answer to it, to be honest with you.
No, he really did. I mean, and I was following some lady that asked him about, he did a voiceover as a caterpillar in some cartoon movie, which I thought whatever. That's her question. But like, I thought my question, although it was kind of provocative, I think he gave a very good answer, and I think it was very, very sincere. I mean, I think it was a good question, but yeah, I mean, it probably didn't make him feel super happy because he wasn't portrayed great in the shark is broken play, So
the best question I've ever heard. Somebody, him and Jeff Kramer were doing a panel, and somebody said, "Do you remember Roy Scheider played the police chief, and he closed the beaches?" And they're like, "Yeah, I remember that." And she said, "If you had played the part, would you have closed the beaches?
Oh my God.
and they looked at each other, and then Richard finally said, I would just do what the script told me to do.
I love
That's,
it.
Director's actor.
that's ridiculous. Oh my God, that's amazing though.
I love him.
Yeah.
Fun
Very
times.
cool. Awesome.
Right.
Well, hey, I'm going to throw a couple comments up here. Just mention a couple comments here, and you guys got something else to add? If not, I'll just mention a couple comments, and we can wrap the evening up. Sound good to you guys?
Right.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, we got a couple up here. We got Eric Augustin saying AJG is definitely in the house this evening. So yeah, very very cool. Our good friend Sonia from Australia. Great show tonight, guys. Very well done. Glad to be a part of the Jaws family. We got Crystal McGinn from Scotland on.
Wow.
Saying absolutely fabulous show. Well done. What an amazing tribute to the stories and memories. Cheers from Scotland. So really, really cool. Very thoughtful stuff here, guys. Thank you very much. Eric saying shark content. Yep, that's coming up. By the way, July 13th and 14th. You guys, anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
So,
Booked my flight today.
I've got to book the flight yet. I've got the hotel room and the tickets. I don't have the flight yet. I got to check. I think I can fly directly from where I am. So, but I got to look into it. So, and Mark Ames is asking. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I got round trip for less than $300, nonstop.
Nice.
But did you go to Tampa International or did you go to Clearwater, Mike?
No, I'm going to Tampa.
Flight? You're going straight to Tampa, not Clearwater? Okay.
Straight to Tampa. Wow. Yeah, Mark Ames is asking where the event is.
It is at the Florida State Fairgrounds, which is off of Hillsborough
I-4.
Avenue and I-4.
It's off of I-4, right?
Yeah. And exactly 10 miles from where I first saw Jaws for the first time.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow. Very nice.
But it'll be fun. It's got, if you're into biology and sharks and aquatic life, even if there wasn't anything Jaws related, it would be a fun show. And especially if you have kids, young kids. So
Awesome.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Looking forward to the education. Looking forward to obviously seeing the people on the panel, and definitely looking forward to hanging out with you guys and sharing some laughs in person. It's going to be a great time. I'm so excited for it. I mean, the panel's going to be phenomenal, but just to meet you guys, I know we have some folks from AJG that's going to be there, so it's just going to be a good time. It's just going to be a really fun time. I can't wait. It's going to be a really good time. Very cool. Awesome.
Counting the days.
Yeah, it should be fun. Well, all right, you guys here, you guys at home, we want to thank you guys for coming on and joining us tonight. We're going to do our little tradition, get the fins up here.
Fins up.
We're going to wrap things up for the evening. Take it out. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for celebrating the life of Suzanne and
the last thing I want to say is that, thanks to somebody, Susan really was a trailblazer for a lot of women, stunts and all that. So obviously she's been a big impact on our lives, being the first victim. So, whatever stories that you may have or pictures or whatever, please post on Martin's page or, our page, share your story. And, go back and watch some of her films. Nate had put up some movies up. She was in 1941, which is, Victor's favorite movie, but, the Great Muppet Caper, but, there you go. There's some of the films that she was in. And, a lot of people don't realize that these people do this with passion, and then we idolize them, but to get to know a person such as she was, has been a very honor for most of us. So I just wanted to end with that.
Well said.
Well
said. Legend.
Very nice. Nice way to round it up. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we will catch up with you in just a few.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
Have a great weekend.
Hugs to my girl.